Our country has never been through a period like this. This is unprecedented, not only in our democracy, but also in the history of our country. That we will have a lockdown for 21 days to go out and wage war against an invisible enemy.
Never could have been thinking I would know what the future bring. All the highs and lows, said I'm gonna win, though the world might spin. Now I'm sitting here like I'm no one. It rains down on me, all the phone calls I'm ignoring. See, I'm a mess, just trying to guess my way through this. Just don't get enough of me.
Hi everyone, hope you're well. Just thought I'd put a video together just to give you an update on my channel. Unfortunately, there's no review going on right now, but South Africa's just been put on a lockdown for 21 days, so no leaving the house unless you're looking for essentials like food and so on. And yeah, it's interesting times. I'm sure it is for a lot of you. So I do have Fujifilm's new X-T4, and I fortunately got it just before the lockdown. Unfortunately, too late to have put it through its paces for my review that I wanted to do. But I suppose if I'm going to be stuck in the lockdown, doing some home projects, let it be with the X-T4 for sure. And I will be doing a couple of shoots at home, maybe do some things that I don't normally do. And as I go along doing these things, I'll be able to give you some more feedback on this camera. So it's not going to be the usual standard review where I do it in one video. It's going to be over a couple of videos while I'll be using the X-T4 for the projects that I'm doing. So thank you, Fujifilm, for letting me use the X-T4. I don't think you planned for me to have it for more than a week, but because we're not going anywhere, I do have it, and I've confirmed for the period of time that I am locked down in my home. I do have a couple of things up my sleeve for this lockdown. I wanted to review two lenses which I've been trying to review for a long time. And it's strange because these two lenses I've actually used extensively, so I do know them very well. I had started doing a review on the 100-400 lens a while back, and I scrapped it. I wasn't at all happy with the review that I put together, and I didn't think it was worthwhile putting out. So I'm actually going to give it a proper go this time. And yes, I'm not out and about, so I can't actually show you live sort of up-to-date footage of that lens, but I can show you an extensive sort of portfolio of what I've done with that lens. And to top it off, I was able to get my hands on the 200 f2, which is a superb lens. And I just want to show you the difference between these two lenses. So if you're looking in the market for getting a long lens, if you're a wildlife photographer or anything that requires a long lens, sports, whatever it might be, this might be of interest to you, because I'll put them up against each other. I'll show you the pros and cons of using both, despite that there's a huge price difference between the two lenses. But I just wanted to show you firsthand what they can do, those lenses. They're incredibly impressive lenses. So I thought it'd be worthwhile putting them up against each other in a review, and hopefully beneficial to you. So look out for that. That'll be coming up. That's the Fujifilm 200 f2 and the Fujifilm 100-400 zoom lens. So I haven't yet quite decided exactly what I'm going to be doing over these few weeks from a content perspective, besides the reviews I've already told you about. But hopefully I can put out something that's educational, or at least gives you food for thought during this time where you're under confinement or lockdown, wherever you might be. I know some of you are not under lockdown, lucky you. But yeah, so one of the ideas I was sort of playing with was talking about Fujifilm profiles, because my mind has actually changed on the profiles over the last sort of 2 months or so. I've got a different perspective on Fujifilm profiles, or profiles in general. So that might be of interest to you. And I also want to try and interview someone. I have someone in mind, someone whose work I really like and admire. He's a Johannesburg-based photographer. I'm going to try and secure an opportunity to chat to him and introduce him to you. And yeah, I'd like to see his work, and maybe he can tell you a bit more about himself. So just to briefly touch on our current situation with COVID-19 or coronavirus, whatever you prefer to call it. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into too much as to, you know, what people think about it directly. You know, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, you know, where it comes from, why it's here. You know, obviously there are legitimate concerns over liberty and freedom because it does affect our freedoms, and that is a concern. But really, you know, it's been pretty scary, and it has been for a lot of people. It is scary for me, and it has been for a lot of people, especially those of us who work for ourselves, freelancers. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be creative people. There's a lot of people who run their own businesses. Even for those who employ more than just themselves, you know, just to have all that work evaporate. I mean, I was looking at my calendar, and I was fully booked March, April, May, and all gone. Yeah, it is scary. I mean, fortunately for me, some of those have been postponed. I have one date remaining in April. They've chosen to go ahead with the booking, and it's outside of the 21 days, which is quite risky because we don't even know if the 21 days is going to be the final decision. But the rest have, you know, either cancelled or postponed. And those who have postponed have landed up postponing into new dates in the year, which would have been new work in the year. So there's a definite loss of income, and it has been for a lot of people. So I do feel for a lot of people out there. I can directly relate to you. And yeah, so I just wish you all the best over the coming months. You know, hopefully you can put together plans and sort of ways and creative ways in which you can generate some income. But it's going to be incredibly tough. And if there's any consolation in this, is that we're all together in this. So let's hope that things do correct themselves as best as possible. But I was discussing, you know, the situation with my daughters, and as they're getting older now, they're getting keenly aware of their place in the world and who they are, and, you know, sensitive to other people's problems. There's a lot of vulnerable people in South Africa, like there is around the world, but we've got high levels of tuberculosis and HIV. And, you know, the fear is that a virus like this gets into our vulnerable communities, and it's going to wreak absolute havoc. And not only that, they have you know, issues with nutrition as it is. They're not in the strongest position, and now they have these underlying issues which would complicate things. So I can understand the 21-day lockdown, but my daughters really wanted to sort of play a part of sort of building solidarity, which is why I put that little video in the beginning together for them as well, just so they could have a little say in the matter. And yeah, so I do, you know, I'm thinking, you know, our thoughts and prayers are with you pretty much, and there's not much we can do. But, you know, watching around the world, you know, watching the situation in Italy and Spain as it's progressing, the numbers of deaths and things like that. But also, you know, just the small things, just those people who are critical in hospital can't even be with their families. Imagine having a loved one, irrespective of age. It shouldn't be a difference. Is sitting in a hospital in critical condition and you can't be with them, and the person who's dying or who's critical doesn't have their family with them. So to die alone is pretty scary. So yeah, there's a lot of people going through a lot of pain. So our thoughts and prayers are with you, and I just wish you all the best, and yeah, Godspeed going forward. So those of you who have subscribed, thank you very much. For those who haven't, please do subscribe and hit the notification button, and you'll be notified of new videos coming through over the next couple of weeks. And my daughters just want to leave a message of encouragement. Yeah, they just wanted to share what's on their heart, and I just wish you all the best. God bless.
So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. We pray for wisdom for our president and government, strength and protection for all healthcare workers, security forces, and essential service workers, resilience for all South Africans and people around the world.